What happens when a storm becomes more than a storm? Is this a shark movie? Is this a disaster movie? What the heck is a Sharknado? This is Systematic Geekology. We are the priests to the geeks. I'm your host, Matthew Winter. Today I am here with Will Rose. So, if you were at the drive-in to see this movie, what would be your reaction after leaving the drive-in?
Oh, man, as someone who has experienced both hurricanes and had a few shark encounters while surfing, I don't know whether to laugh or cry at the end of this movie. One of my reactions is Hurricane David in this movie is one of the weirdest hurricanes I've ever seen portrayed in any kind of media. And then if Jaws, if the tagline for Jaws was "You'll never go in the water again," Sharknado is "You'll never walk on dry land again." Yes, those are my reactions.
Sure. Man, yeah. When I first watched this, all I could think is, what did I just see?
Yeah. So I turned to you, Matthew, and I'm like, all right, we just finished the movie. What's your first reaction? First sentence, phrase, commentary? I say, Matthew, what did you think? What are you saying back at me?
Well, it's a movie.
They made a movie. I at the end of the movie, I watched the entire credits. I knew there might be like maybe an in credits scene, but I watched all the credits and read all the names, knowing that there was a lot of people that worked on this movie. I don't know what they worked on or how long it took or how much money.
Yeah.
But I was like, these people put this together. And boy, howdy, did they ever.
Yeah. It is fun, though. You say whatever you want about the movie. It is a fun, it's a fun go.
Now, did you see this when it came out in 2013, or was this a later thing, or you just watched it because of this drive-in series that we're doing for Halloween? Or did you see it when it first came out and debuted on Sci-Fi Channel?
No. The original one way back, it's actually, I'm pretty sure it's quite a bit older than that, because I know that my best friend's mom from school was really into these. Anytime a new one would drop, she'd get super excited.
Yeah.
And I just... never watched it back then, never got it. I don't know that who I was back then would have got this movie.
Right.
And would have. So I am glad I waited. Nah, it's been within the last 6 months that I watched it. Mm-hmm. It was, I think, me just going through. We finally. So I'm techie, obviously having the job I have. My wife has a love-hate relationship with tech. She finally figured out how to get her Prime logged in on our TV.
Okay.
So I was just going through. I'm like, you know what? Let's see what's in here. Let's see what's in Prime. And I'm like, dear, all the Sharknado movies are in here.
Oh, and when you say all, I know there's like 9 of them.
I think there's 5, and then there's a bunch of uncut and special edition and behind the scenes. And I was like, hey, I know that you like these, and I've never seen these. You want to have fun this week?
Mm-hmm.
And so that was our thing for the night that week as we watched through them. I thought she'd only seen the first couple. I hadn't seen any of them, so it was.
You did all of them. Wow.
I did all of them in a week.
Yeah, so good.
It was an adventure.
Yeah,
it gets crazy.
Oh, I'm tempted to keep going, but I do remember this when this debuted, and it was like, we had cables. It's kind of a decade ago before streaming, or streaming was huge, and so Sci-Fi would put out these made for TV movies, and I knew it was a thing, and the cult classic, and people talking about it, and I caught glimpses when they replayed it, but never really watched it all the way through. But knowing that this was in our Halloween drive-in series, I was like, man. Matt, this was up there. I was like, I saw Matthew's name there, and I was like, okay, as someone who grew up at the beach, who has seen sharks in the water when I surfed, who have experienced lots of hurricanes, who chase hurricanes for waves, I was like, I need to watch this all the way through and see what happens. And I was not disappointed. Like I was like, oh man. And you're right. Like back in 2013, would I have appreciated the movie like I do now? Post streaming and where I am in my life and looking at the water and ocean and caring for creation and sharks and all those things. I'm so glad I did. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Oh man. So if you could briefly explain the plot of the film to someone who has never, I'm pretty sure everyone's heard of Sharknado, but let's just say someone is not aware of what this is. Okay. How would you explain the film?
All right, so I'm going to just a couple sentences of explaining it, but then there's a couple reviews that I found that I feel like will capture the heart of this movie that I need to share. So the movie does open up with like this kind of villainous kind of tanker boat that's cutting fins off sharks for shark fin soup, and it's a horrible thing. It's a reason why it's outlawed around the world in major places, because it's just cruel and horrible what you do to sharks. So you have this kind of like, the sharks are going to get their revenge, and then a storm comes, and then sharks come out and start mauling people. So people deserve, but the fact that like eventually you get this heartwarming group of friends who like to surf together and run like just a local beach bar and restaurant. But no, if you're swimming in shin deep water, you still have a chance of being attacked by a shark. And then it turns into Jaws, not just one monster shark, but like lots of sharks attacking everybody. And then you have a hurricane, and that hurricane turns into a tornado with a lot of sharks flying in the air. And no matter where you are, in a car or on a roof, or whether it's sunny outside and you're hanging out in a pool at a veterans retirement community and a shark falls in the pool, like you're in danger of being eaten by a shark no matter where you are in this community. And then it ends when they blow up tornadoes with some kind of a gas gasket or something, and save the day. And they chainsaw them. The main action hero chainsaws his way out of the shark to live for another day. And so that's kind of stuff. But here's a 10 out of 10 review on IMDb. Are you ready?
Yes.
For anyone who hasn't seen the sci-fi original movie Sharknado, it's a heartwarming coming-of-age story about a ragtag group of sharks uprooted from their home by Mother Nature's fury. The sharks must band together and overcome adversity and strife while desperately make their way back to the only home they've ever known. Battling chainsaw-wielding humans and B-list actors trying desperately to throw themselves into displaced sharks' mouths every chance they get. If you love sharks and tornadoes, well, now you don't have to choose. You do yourself a favor and see this one before the Oscars. Sharknado is truly a cinematic experience of a lifetime.
Wow.
So good. Now here's 1 of 10. They give it 1 star. One is almost loath to point a finger at suspension of disbelief when it comes to a movie whose premise is sharks and tornadoes. But whatever level you plan to come in with is surely going to fall short. And anyone and everyone gets to play, not just those who have a working knowledge of wind shear or physics that keep helicopters in the air. If you've played pool, fished, surfed, driven a car in water deeper than 2 inches, been exposed to gravity, or otherwise in any way interacted or gained some understanding of the world around you, this movie has something for you to go, huh? About. When I was reading through the reviews of this movie, which there are plenty, just for entertainment purposes, just go read the reviews for Sharknado, and the 10-star reviews and the 1-star reviews are just absolutely hilarious. So I thought that captured kind of the heart of this movie and why you should go watch it.
Yeah, just I guess depending where you are on the spectrum of this thing, like it's either so bad it's good,
yeah,
or it's just good.
Right. And I think that's the question we're asking with these Halloween series is like, why do people not consider it a horror movie when it
Right.
has elements that is like, yeah, there's shark attacks, there's blood, there's a little bit of gore, there's random people who get bit by a shark and you think they're going to die, but no, in the next scene they're running away perfectly okay to their car to hop in and run away in a car. But
Yeah.
like our Australian film.
But there are. I mean, there
Yeah.
are people bit in half that are
Yes.
just spewing blood everywhere. I mean,
Yes.
your horror and your gore and like it's in there.
It's in there.
But
it's so cartoony that you don't know whether to laugh. So in a way, it should be a horror movie because there are sharks and tornadoes landing on people, biting people in half. But then you don't know if it's like a comedy because of what's going on and the scene cuts and the inconsistencies between the rain and the sun. And there's a hurricane, but now there's people eating in a restaurant just looking out a window. And then and then sharks look so unrealistic with the CGI that you're like, no, I don't think that's a real thing. I don't think that's a real shark. I can't be scared of that shark. I don't think I would at all be scared. And why are they attacking everybody? Like sharks don't do that. That's not how they operate. So yeah, is it a horror? Is it? Yeah, it's a horror for you. If you like well put together movies, then maybe it's a horror that you're like, how did this happen? That's the horror. But
the horror is its existence.
The horror is its existence. But the fact that they made 5 more and they kept going and the cult classic is like, I'm kind of proud that human beings, we do this stuff. I'm very proud of humanity that we create movies like this and put it out for people to watch. And I'm like, man, life is good. Life is good.
Yeah. So I guess really that is the question is that, is this just a dumb action horror parody or is there more to this modern cult classic? I mean, they made 6.
Yeah. What do you think that's the commentary on set? What do you think, man? I'll let you answer that for it. I've talked a lot. How would you answer that question? And then like, how does this reflect humanity?
Oh God. Oh man. Yeah. I mean, so here's the thing. If creativity and art and all of that stuff and, I don't know if I want to go there. That's a horrifying thought. But you know what? I'm just going to follow that. I'm just going to follow that rapture. Here's the horror, everybody. So if our ability to create and do art and all of those sorts of things is little creation, right? And it is one of the ways in which we image, glorify, and magnify God. I don't know what these movies say about God.
The Imago Dei of creating the image of God and that we are co-creators with God. What do these movies say? That we live in a fallen humanity, a fallen, broken world. Yeah. If you
right. Why are these like clever and fun, but why are these train wrecks of movies so good?
Yeah, and maybe the part here you go, Matthew. If you're going to find good in this redemption, maybe it's because they have actors in this movies who were once considered almost A-listers when it comes to the main actor from 90210 back in the day. Yeah. Tara Reid, who was in a lot of movies, made a lot of money, but they crashed and burned, ran out of, kicked out of Hollywood or not invited back or not able to find work. But yet they found a home here to keep their craft going. And they know what it is. It's not like they're self-aware. They're not like, I'm not going to win an Oscar or an Emmy with this thing, but I'm going to make these movies and have fun and put it out there for people to watch to just like, mindless stuff. Like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff in this world that I have to worry about. A lot of real horror, a lot of real things that are scary. And yet I consider this movie and maybe cut off my brain a little bit and just kind of hang out with this. Maybe not be too scared. There's a couple jump scares. There's a couple like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just saw that. But like, but yeah, maybe there's something to it that we can there's that kind of theology of horror, to help us cope with real world scary things, and they help us practice our scare, fight, or flight techniques and what we would do in situations. But this one, I don't know. Matthew, I've surfed around and been in the ocean my entire life. I've seen a couple sharks, but none of them act like in this movie. So I hope the sharks get pissed at us for how we portray them, and they really do turn on us. There's a hurricane coming up the coast now through Louisiana. I hope they don't dump sharks in the mountains where I am this weekend, because they keep
that's lean, right?
Yeah. They, it might have sucked up all the sharks from the Gulf, and they're going to drop them on Boone, North Carolina. And then I'm doomed. I'm going to arm myself with a chainsaw and go after it. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, so I do think maybe, and just maybe, and I don't know if you watched all the rest of them or not.
No, but it's there in my queue. It's there in my queue.
Yeah. So, as the story goes on, like obviously even in the first one, there is these themes of sacrifice and heroism and things like that are good things.
Yeah.
But like as it goes on, there is there's themes of, I'd say, there's definitely themes of like loyalty and what family is, and even adoption.
Yeah.
As the story goes on, that are actually, despite the medium it's in, done quite well. So there are, from that aspect,
the reason I'm laughing, you're 100% correct. But as you talk about like loyalty, and you talk about like the virtues of the people in this movie, the one of my favorite scenes is that Finn sees a busload of children who are in danger, and he wants to go help, but his ex-wife is like, see, there you go again, caring for other people. And I'm like, what? Did you get a divorce from this guy because he cares about children trapped in a school bus? Yes, you should help the children not get mauled by sharks. And she's like, there you go again, always thinking of others before your family. I'm like, no, I think you could do both. And I think this is a moment. Yeah, maybe he's distracted. Maybe he's working too much at the local bar on the beach, or surfing too much, and his wife just couldn't take it anymore. I totally get that. But the moment she reveals that like maybe she doesn't care, the reason they're divorced because he doesn't care about her is because he's going to go help a school bus full of children not be attacked by sharks. I was just laughed out loud at that. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are there. Yeah, they play around. That's what movies and horror movies, superhero movies, any movie, like they're toying around with the human condition, virtue, and ethics, and what we would do in certain situations, and what we prioritize. And at that moment, I think Finn made the right choice. He prioritized a school bus full of children who were getting ready to be attacked by land sharks.
Yeah. So that being said, what would you do? Do you have what it takes to survive a Sharknado?
Oh man, that's such a good question. I don't know. I'm definitely the dude who likes to avoid confrontation. I can't see myself being the one with the wielding a chainsaw going after sharks. Like I would definitely defend others, and I shepherd a community, and I would defend my family. I would hope that I would step up, but I'm conflict averse, and there may be part of me that's just going to hop in a truck and drive inland away from this hurricane and tornadoes and be like, I'm out. Peace, y'all. Come on, let's get in the car and go. I don't know if I have what it takes. Matthew, how about you? How would you answer that question? Are you a wielding chainsaw person, or are you gonna try to soup up a helicopter and drive a helicopter directly into a tornado? I mean, I don't know. I don't know if I would.
And who knows? I would like to think that in these kinds of situations, I would be one of those utility people who's like an idea guy.
Okay, yeah.
Because I definitely, I definitely don't have a body to physically keep up with what's going on. Mm-hmm. Like if I have to run away from this thing, I'm screwed.
Yeah.
It's just it's just. It is what it is. If I have to go fisticuffs with the shark, I'm done.
Yeah, but maybe that's the scary part, like going toe to toe with a land shark. But then also, like if you're in the water, you're not going to swim as fast as a shark. So
No,
other
no
things
way.
you need to do. Yeah, get out of the water if you see a dorsal fin
Yeah.
or someone's chumming up the water. You don't want to surf there, but like you're not going to
But
outswim a shark, and you're not
but
going
if
to
you
outrun.
want, yeah, if you want someone to devise a way to drop explosives out of a helicopter into the eye of a tornado, I just might be the guy for that.
Okay, cool. Love that. Love it. Or like that main protagonist, she was one of the main characters who, fell out of the spoilers, guys. If you want to go watch Sharknado first, she falls out of the helicopter and gets, inhaled by a shark in the air. You're like, oh, she's dead. I'm like, there's no way she's not gonna survive that. They're gonna bring her back somehow. I had no idea how they're gonna bring her back, but they did. She survived it, and you have to watch the movie to figure out how she survived being eaten in the air by a shark, and then that shark landing, hundreds of yards from the sky onto the ground, and she survives. You have to watch the movie for yourself to see how she's.
Yeah, and so really, that just kind of leads me to some of my favorite scenes, which are really just Finn getting gobbled up.
Mm-hmm.
And then cutting himself out.
Yes.
And this is a running thing. As you watch all the movies, you're waiting for the scene where that happens. You're like, okay.
Oh, does that happen in every movie?
It happens in every movie.
That's
a running.
Oh yes, he cuts himself out of a shark every single movie.
Yeah. So there's one where he's in the air and it swallows him up while he's in the air, and you literally just see him come out the other end of the shark. He cuts his way through it in the air.
Nice.
Oh, it's just, yes, it becomes a running, I guess, gag, but it's definitely one of the icons of this series is him cutting his way out of a shark.
I love that. Yeah, and there's a lot of scenes that's pretty fun, but I think my favorite is that like veteran hospital assisted living for retirees or something. And in the middle of a hurricane of tornadoes, there just happens to be like on the sunny side where this is happening. I mean, granted, the scene before it was raining, it was dark, it was windy, but the next scene in pretty much the same block neighborhood, it's sunny. And there's an older man swimming in a pool with his sweetheart. And yeah, a shark lands in the pool. And needless to say, I would assume it's a freshwater pool, that it goes after him, but yet you get him out of the pool and Finn throws gasoline in the pool and sets the pool on fire to destroy that's one of my favorite shark kills. Like, yeah, the chainsaws, that kind of stuff, but like the fact that he torched a shark in a chlorinated assisted living swimming pool was so good. That
was that's true. Or there's the barfly.
Yeah.
Too.
George?
Like when they're like when they're escaping, they're leaving the bar, whatever, he has to bring his stool.
Yes, that was his weapon. That was his weapon. Yeah. That was his sword.
Yeah, he has to have his chair. This is mine.
This is mine. I've spent a lot of hours on this stool. I'm going to take it with me. And then later on, he saves a dog from a car by smashing out the window with the stool. I'm like, yeah, George. I mean, he doesn't last much longer after that. But the fact that he saved a dog's life, I'm like, you're a hero in my eyes, George. You're
All right. Is there anything else that we would like to discuss before we wrap this up?
Yeah, I mean, we're going to talk about Finn as like a legendary action hero. I mean, he's the action hero we didn't know we didn't need, and I think the fact that he's named Finn, I think it's Finley or something. Maybe it's his real name.
Yeah.
His nickname is Finn, and he's a surfer, and he's the hero in all these movies. The guy from 90210. He's really good. And so, yeah, the wrestling with take care of his family or others and sharks and getting people to safety and people aren't listening to him or not believing him, is pretty fun. So yeah. Kudos to Finn and that character. Nice one.
Yeah, no, he's God, how'd you put that? That's great.
Yeah. The action hero we didn't know we didn't need.
Yes. That's good.
Yeah.
So yeah, you've touched on this briefly, but as a surfer,
Yeah.
as someone who's met sharks, what are your real world thoughts about this movie?
Yeah, I mean, it's like, yeah, again, that review of like if you have any understanding of physics or wind shear or experience the world in any way, then you're going to be asking what in the world? Because hurricanes, and yeah, tornadoes come up quick, and the response time to a real tornado is very short. I mean, science is getting away. Hurricanes are different. Like it is you have days to prepare and get out of the way. Not like there's a storm coming, and 1 minute it's sunny, and they're looking out the window. The next minute, like the hurricane's here, everyone run. I was like, oh my gosh. And they were surfing, and then, every now and then, there's certain places in the world you can be careful of great whites and tiger sharks, and whether it's South Africa or Hawaii or Australia, there's certain places where their sharks go to breed and eat. And, so there are shark attacks, real shark attacks. You got to be careful of those things. They can be big. We've all seen Shark Week. Those jaws are something. But from the East Coast, like what I tell people and when I lead like surf camp and stuff, is like that you have more chances of being mauled by a bear or struck by lightning or getting a car wreck than you do of ever hanging out on the beach and getting mauled by a shark. Like it could happen, but think of how many people are in the water all summer long, the statistics, and you get a couple shark bites or a couple attacks, but you think of the millions of people. It's just really hard. And I have seen a shark, and I know that they're not really after me. I'm not going to play in water where people are chumming up the water or fishing. I'm going to not surf in those spots. But if I see a dorsal fin, I'm like, okay, let's get out of the water. Or if there's a school of fish, I'm not going to surf in the school of fish because there's probably bigger fish eating them, and you don't want to be a case of mistaken identity. Is most of the time when people are bit by a shark, it's a case of mistaken identity, and they're not. So this particular movie is like they are after you. Their jaws are out, and if they see a human, they're going to bite it. They're going to lunge at it, and you're like, that's just not how sharks act. But the science behind sharks is not. And so Mo's response is kind of funny. Part of me is like, I don't want to I want to suspend my disbelief, but I also was like, man, these tornadoes and hurricanes and sharks are getting a bad rap. Like, oh wow, they just don't operate this way. So I want to defend them a little bit and say that's not their character.
Those poor tornadoes.
Yeah, those poor tornadoes get all the best. But I when I was leading surf camp, I'd tell kids, I'm like, we talk about what we're nervous about and be careful. It's like, be smart in the water. You're sharing the water with creatures. I'm more scared of jellyfish than that. Now, if they did jellyfish NATO, I would be like petrified. Those I don't want that at all. I was like, I'm more scared of jellyfish. And I tell the kids, I'm like, most likely you're going to have a surfboard bite rather than a shark bite. And they're like, what do you mean? I'm like, you're not paying attention to your surfboard and you let it go and it hit your friend in the face. And they have to go to stitches because you have a surfboard bite, or you're not paying attention. The wave picks up your board and smashes it against you. You got to be aware of where your surfboard is. So most injuries are coming from that surfboard attached to you than they are the shark. So there's my little PSA announcement, folks. If you try to surf, don't worry about the sharks. Worry about your surfboard so you don't let go and hit your friend in the face or you in the face.
That's good advice.
Yeah, there you go. Free advice.
Yeah. Okay. Here we come.
All right.
I know you've discussed a 10-star review. You've discussed a 1-star review. How do you rate this thing?
Oh, Matthew, I'm a good Lutheran, so I'm both saint and sinner, 100%. So on some days, I'll give it a 10-point review, just like the person, and say this is the movie we all wanted and need in our lives. And then there's some days at the one I'm like, oh my gosh, this is everything defies anything that you would ever want to watch on TV or experience. So, it's horrific just how they made this movie. And I was actually an extra in like a Friends B-list horror movie they made here in town called Repchild. I hope it comes to Shudder one day or Netflix. It might. I'm in the bar. I have to give the main character like a stink eye because they said something horrible. And that movie, I think, is 20 times better than Sharknado. We're a little biased, but I'm like, the way they put this together and hang together in the plot, like this Repchild needs to be out there in the world. So, there's some at any given moment, just like the movie, when at one moment it's raining, another moment it's sunny. I will one moment call it a 10, 1 minute give it a 1. So that's where I am.
Yeah, I went through a journey with this movie. So at first I started it, was kind of getting into it. There was a little bit of plot. I'm like, okay. Like you said, it starts at the beginning, and it seems like it's gonna be like a serious movie. Because they're out there, they're hunting the shark fins, or doing all that. The dude is like he's got all the money.
Yeah.
And they're like pulling out guns on each other. I'm like, okay, this is getting serious, and this thing just started. Yep. Maybe I've been wrong all these years.
Yeah. And then a shark lands on the boat and mauls somebody from the deck. Not in the water. They don't fall in the water and get mauled. I'm like, the shark jumps onto the boat to attack somebody. I'm like, okay, here we go. Now it's getting
yeah. So man, I went on a journey with this movie. There was so many times in this where I was just like, why am I watching this?
Yep.
I'm like, why did people like this? Two, who thought to make this? Where I was definitely sitting at that one, or maybe not even a one, maybe like a waste of the film it was filmed on. But I think by the end and seeing the whole thing, like you cannot beat dropping explosives into tornadoes.
Yeah.
To stop the tornado. And I'm like, okay, this is stupid, but this is clever stupid.
Clever stupid. There you go. There's your review. Like the next Sharknado is like, quote, clever stupid, unquote, Matthew Winters, his review of why you need to see this movie. And the other thing is, like, you look at all the names at the credits. Some people got paid for this. They got to pay the bills. They got to put food on the table for their kids. And this employed hundreds of people to make this movie. Yeah. I'm like, good. That's the good it did for society.
Yeah. So a movie like this isn't going to get my usual scrutiny, right? I'm not going to go into the depth of characters. I'm not going to go into, how believable it is, like that. Like, none of that is the point of this.
Right.
So I feel like I would be grading a fish on its ability to climb a tree.
Well, these sharks might be able to at some point. I don't know.
That's true. They may.
There's a chance.
But as a spoof horror, just let's have dumb fun. I give it a 7.
Nice work. Well, I think on one of these IMDb reviews, you need to write your review and say, I give it 7 out of 10. Clever, stupid, and then mic drop right after that. So Matthew, if you were going to cosplay for Halloween a character in this movie, who would you cosplay?
Oh gosh. So it's the last. Might be 5 and 6. I would. So the Hoff shows up. He's Finn's dad.
No, come on! I got to keep watching this now. Hasselhoff. Dad.
Oh yeah,
that's a good.
And
review.
there's a spot in 5, or it might be 4 or 5. One of those. They all start bleeding together after a while. There's so many.
Yeah.
But so you've got the Hoff flying around in a mech suit fighting sharks.
Oh my gosh!
So I would be the Hoff in a shark fighting mech.
Nice. That's so good. Yeah, I think, part of me when I was thinking about this question, I was like, I have the outfit. I have a surfboard. I have a wetsuit. I could be Finn. I don't have the hair, but I could put on like a wig, like a curly blonde wig, and then paddle around out there. I have the equipment. I could go do that right now, with my wetsuit and surfboard. So I could cosplay as Finn. But the fun of it would be, like, since there's so many land sharks now, landing is just like two inches of water and still attacking people, that I would want to get a big shark, suit and just walk around like, what's up, y'all? Who are you? Like, I'm a shark from Sharknado. Don't worry. I'm looking for Finn. I'm going to bite his leg or head. He's chainsawed too many of my friends. I'm after him. That's what I would do. So land shark. That's what I'd be.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Oh, that's great. Okay.
I would recommend that. You just want some fun and you don't mind like unrealistic blood and gore. And, again, if you're scared of the ocean or animals in the ocean, or you have a kid that's nervous about getting in the ocean because of creatures, don't portray the stereotypes that sharks are going to come after you if you just put your foot in the water. But, if you like good, dumb fun and like clever dumb, then go see this movie. I recommend it. And that your recommendation of seeing David Hasselhoff in a mech suit fighting sharks, I gotta do it. That's a great recommendation.
Yeah.
I'm all over it.
Yeah, for sure. So that'd be my recommend too. Not only watch Sharknado, but watch all 6.
Nice.
Watch. I mean, the last one gets a little bit weird. There's like time travel and like portals inside the Sharknados, and it gets crazy. But it's it's good.
Man, if you're gonna make 6 of these, then you gotta have like some weird wonky woo-woo like time portal stuff with shark.
Yeah, so they start trying to put a plot together and have it make sense, and you're like, they just literally threw this in to make it make sense.
Sharknado continuity. We gotta do it.
Yeah. As always, friends, remember, we are all a chosen people, a geekdom of priests.